Ridge Racer 2! We're ready and waiting for you. Come on! Pull up to the starting line and rev your engine.
Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to a special bonus episode of barSILENCE. My name is Jamison, and I'm your host. Every episode of this show aims to explore the very best video game music from past and present. If you're new to the show, you can head over to barsilence.com, where you can listen to past episodes, see track listings, as well as being able to click an easy link to subscribe on whatever your favorite podcatcher is. You can also listen to the show on 8beats Radio, where the show plays live on the first Tuesday of every month. Check it out at 8beats.co, or check out the show notes to listen to this excellent 24/7 around-the-clock video game music radio station. In this episode, we're going to hop in, hit the road, and turn up the music because we're listening to remixes from songs that were featured in the original Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer 2. The music of the early days of Ridge Racer is great, and there's no denying that there is something extremely special about how it was one of the first games to really bring something new to the table when it came to racing game soundtracks. It wasn't rock, and it wasn't jazz fusion. Its influences were taken straight from club and rave culture at the time. So, while doing research for the last episode, I found a few extremely limited run albums with excellent and inspired remixes that change up the genres a bit while staying true to the originals. If you aren't super familiar with the tracks that are getting remixed, take a listen to the episode Ridge Racer, Ridge City FM 1 that dives deep into the soundtracks from Ridge Racer 2, and Ridge Racer Revolution. But if you are familiar, then let's get into the driver's seat and hit the road because you're going to love what you're listening to. The song that brought us in is called Welcome RR 2.5, that comes from the soundtrack Ridge Racer, which we'll get into in a bit. For this first block though, we're going to listen to a few tracks from the Ridge Racer NSM and the self-titled Ridge Racer albums. The Ridge Racer NSM album was engineered by Nookie at Daddy Armshouse Studio and released in the UK in 1996, not long after the American and European releases of Ridge Racer Revolution. From these albums, we're going to hear Rare Hero Underground Mix and follow it with Ridge Racer Future Groove Mix by Lennie D. Ice and Armshouse crew. Lennie D. Ice is considered to be one of the first musicians to define that jungle sound with his track We Are IE that was released in 1991. Both of these tracks featured a distinct jungle and break sound, and they toned back the extreme sounds of the original while still using samples directly from the game. Then after that, we're going to listen to a remix called Speedster MT Mix by Sampling Masters B, which comes from the self-titled Ridge Racer album. Sampling Masters A and B on that disc are likely names used by Shinji Hosoe and Ayako Saso, both of which have pseudonyms that use this prefix of Sampling Masters when they made their own albums as a group, as well as when they produced music found across games like Beatmania and Poppin' Music. Then to close the block, we're going to listen to our final song from these albums called Rhythm Shift Full Throttle Mix, which also comes from Lennie D. Ice. So enjoy these refresh takes on classic Ridge Racer songs, and I'll be back after that.
Get ready.
Program the computer.
Ridge Racer 2!
For this next block, we're going to talk about Ridge Laser. The song that started the show tops off this Laserdisc special release that came out between the second and third games. Ridge Laser was a Japanese-only Laserdisc that contained a video playthrough by a highly talented player, likely someone on the development team, going through all of the courses featured in Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer 2. For those of you who don't know what a Laserdisc is, the easiest way to describe the technology is that it's a home video format similar to a CD. Each disc, to help visualize this, is the size of a record, measuring in at about 12 inches in diameter. Laserdiscs were first released in the market in 1978, just 2 years after the introduction of the VHS, and 4 years before the CD, which was based on Laserdisc technology. Believe it or not, Laserdisc somehow managed to last in the market for an astounding 22 years. By 2000, only 16.8 million Laserdisc players were sold worldwide. So, comparatively speaking, the PlayStation 5 has already sold over 39 million units, and the Xbox Series X is estimated to have sold around 12 million units since 2020. As you can imagine, this Ridge Racer specific disc is an absolute rarity. The good news is that Ridge Laser can be found on YouTube, so I'll include a link in the show notes if you're at all curious about the content. So let's get back to the song that opened the show. That track was called Welcome RR 2.5, which is noteworthy because this remix is longer and stylistically is an evolution to the main theme, which of course makes sense because it came out after Ridge Racer 2 and before the third game in the series, Brave Racer. The rest of the Ridge Laser soundtrack after that opener are mostly super mixes of songs that we've already listened to on the other episode. So we're going to skip those and instead feature two of the songs that have these completely new stylistic takes and vastly change the pace of the originals. First, we're going to listen to Had Gripped by Nobuyoshi Sano, which is a grooving and minimalistic track that's based on the original track called Grip from Ridge Racer 2. This song has a very nostalgic and reflective feeling to it, which is interesting because it came out not that long after the original. Then, we're going to follow it with Ridge Racer in the Jazz Groove, also by Sano, which was used during the credits of the playthrough on Ridge Laser, and is the song that I used in the background of the previous episode. It's too good not to listen to on its own, and I wanted to give it a full appearance to close this block. So settle in, grab a drink, and let's jam out to these incredible songs, and I'll be back after that.
Racer 2!
Alright, everyone, that's the show. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this special episode of barSILENCE, focusing on the remixes from the early eras of Ridge Racer games. If you want to interact with the show and tell me what you think about my selections in this episode, you can follow me on a variety of social media platforms. I am on Twitter at barSILENCEVGM, and you can also check the show notes to find links to follow the show on Tumblr and Instagram. That's where I'll be posting various information about the games featured in this episode. And if you can take a moment, consider leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find the show, because I'd really love to hear what you think. Don't forget, you can go to barSILENCE.com to listen to past shows if you've missed any. And of course, if you're feeling giving, you can always support barSILENCE on Patreon. Check out the show notes to find an easy link to contribute. I'd also like to take a moment to send my personal thanks to our Patreon subscribers. Zoe and Alusa, you guys are too cool for school. Shoutouts are also in order for Professor Tom of the Shujin Academy VGM Club podcast. You can and definitely should check out his podcast for a wealth of great video game music. Then last, I'd like to thank show sponsor Bold Pickens Specialty Pickles. Check them out at boldpickens.com and see if you can find them in stores near you. So, to end the show, I've got a final song to play us out. This track comes to us from the 2014 release of the Ridge Racer 20th Anniversary Remix album, and it is certainly a treat for anyone who loves the vocals of Daytona USA tracks like Let's Go Away and Sky High, which were sung by the unbounded, enthusiastic energy of Takenobu Mitsuyoshi. We're going to listen to Ridge Racer USA mix that was remixed by Hiroshi Okubo with Takenobu's thrilling voice that floors it through the finish line to bring home the win. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Ridge Racer Time Extended. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
Push to the edge. I can lose. Ridge Racer. I own the future. Never look back. Do you know how to boat that battle to the metal? Gonna get the Ridge Racer in the red. I see. To the task, break the way, I'm in command. Yes, is it my destiny? I own the future, don't look back. Burning rubber, feeling the air, chasing all of my dreams, like lightning coming through, leading bright, thrown right by you. Cast away all your Racer. I'm on fire. Checker flag, whirling just from me. Ridge Racer. All of us, eyes ablaze. We're victorious. Revving up the Howard Star, gonna give it all I got. And this life you got was short, just a dream from being a car.
Come on, cheer up. You can try again. You'll do it next time.